Good evening. Welcome to RPTV News. I'm Craig Stagner coming to you live on this Wednesday, June 11th. We're coming to you from the JK Auto Repair Studio. Of course, JK Auto Repair is a full-service car care provider located in Ozark, Missouri. Give my buddy Zach Jones and his crew a call at 417-581-2004. Let them check out your car. Make sure you're all safe and sound and ready to go for any of those summer trips or just the summer heat and conditions. This is the Twister Alley Raceway midweek show. Twister Alley Raceway in Butterfield, Missouri, the #1 kart track in America. Butterfield, Missouri, just south of Monette, north of Cassville. Guarantee you'll love it. Butterfield, Missouri, Twister Alley Raceway. Come get you some. Our sponsors, JK's, Twister Alley, Missouri Motocross Hall of Fame, the South Fork Ranch and Spirits, Stubborn Mule, Quarter Scale Tractor Pulling, PrimeAdvantagePlus.com, Titans at 10.5 Drag Race Series, and Austin Aziz Racing, with special thanks going to our supporters, which all of you are, but these folks in particular, Kevin and Chris at the Dove 98.7, Lisa Burlington Photography, Ozark Raceway Park, Photography by Chesney, Southwest Missouri Quarter Midget Association, Tulsa Speedway, $2 Pistol Motor Speedway, and Stephen Maples. We've got some bad stories this week, some sad ones. I want to tell you about. You know that back earlier in the year, Scott Bloomquist died in a plane crash. We talked about it at the time. Of course, I didn't know, so I wasn't about to go on record as saying this is what happened, but I felt pretty good about my idea that this is what had happened. And today, the NTSB, the National Transportation Safety Board, put out their report. Just if you aren't familiar with Scott Bloomquist, died, it wasn't this year, it was August 16th of 2024, an American nationally touring dirt super late model race car driver in the United States, born in Iowa. Late Model Hall of Fame in its second class of inductees in 2002, and raced for Team Zero race cars. Bloomquist was just a unique character. I mean, he was every bit to dirt racing what Dale Earnhardt Sr. was to asphalt. He was a character, and people loved him or hated him. Prior to this airplane crash that he had, Scott Bloomquist had suffered a right leg and hip injury in an accident on his motorcycle, which sidelined him from racing. So that was already a hit to him. Then he was diagnosed with prostate cancer in 2023, for which he underwent surgery. According to DirtOnDirt.com, doctors discovered the cancerous prostate while being examined for back problems. The NTSB put out this report called Scott Bloomquist's Plane Crash Intentional. The NTSB has released its report on the fatal plane crash that resulted in the death of dirt racing legend Scott Bloomquist last year. The NTSB investigation into his plane crash last year found that no mechanical problem appeared, while listing the probable cause as the pilot's intentional flight into a building as an act of suicide. Scott Bloomquist, 60, was pronounced dead at the scene after the Piper J3C65 Cup antique plane he was flying on August 16th, 2024 crashed into a barn on his family's property in Mooresburg, Tennessee. The NTSB released its report on the incident June 5th. A representative of Bloomquist's family released a statement in which they declined further comment on the report. Quote, "At this time, the family of Scott Bloomquist is not making any public statements regarding the plane crash of the recent NTSB findings." The statement read, "They are focused on supporting one another and respectfully request privacy as they navigate this difficult period. We appreciate your understanding and ask that the media refrain from the further inquiries at this time." Bloomquist's passing came after a spectacular career in which he won more than 600 feature races, including a long list of crown jewel events. He was remembered by thousands of fans during memorials held in his honor last fall at Eldora Speedway in Rossburg, Ohio, and Volunteer Speedway in Bulls Gap, Tennessee. His legacy lives on this year with the upcoming Flow Racing Night in America event, September 11th, named the Scott Bloomquist Memorial. That car was just so iconic. Scott had gone through a lot of things and become more reflective on his own, and his logo for a long time included the yin yang, which if you're not familiar with this, is the Asian symbol that represents balance. Scott was really trying to balance his life and overcome some of the off the track issues with substances that had plagued him early on. Later years, he added the skull and crossbones and just became a guy who looked like a Star Wars villain. But by all accounts, anything I've ever seen of him is that everybody who met him said he was just the nicest guy in the world. I don't think that probably the people racing against him always thought he was the nicest guy, because that black and silver car with the skull and crossbones meant business. But to the fans, so beloved. His father was an airline pilot, so he had it in him for a long time that he had been a pilot. I didn't feel like at the time that this was an accident, given that he had been diagnosed with the prostate cancer and the injuries that were limiting his ability to race anymore at a relatively young age of 60 years old. But what I do know, it didn't matter. Scott was a figure that will forever be talked about and honored in dirt track racing. I don't think this was his intent, but the way he went out, controlling his own, this is when it's happening. As sad as it is, I understand. He will forever be a huge legend and a high watermark in dirt track racing that probably will never be anyone come close to. So our thoughts are with the Bloomquist family and his probably millions of loyal fans. Moving over to pro motocross. Last week, early on in the race, in the day, you probably didn't see this. It wasn't during one of the races. I think this was during some qualifying. They showed it at the time that this had happened earlier in the day, this crash with Travis Cullip. Now, what I'm going to show you here is this is a jump. This was at Thunder Valley in Lakewood, Colorado. The worst possible place you could crash is just on over the crest of a jump, because everybody coming at it can't see it, especially when you're tight. There's not flagmen waiting there for that. That's not a usual place to crash. Usually you would crash down here at the landing, so they don't have somebody standing there just waiting to throw a caution flag to warn someone. So this is what happened. A rider goes down here. This rider goes over, and this is Travis Cullip. Just a bad wreck, and you can see him there favoring the left leg. When you land, he dropped 15, 20 feet. They took him off in an ambulance to the hospital. That was last weekend. That was on the 3rd. On the 8th, Trevor was alert and responsive and fully cognitive upon entering the hospital. After being put into traction, Trevor became unresponsive. Upon later evaluation, it was determined that Trevor had had many strokes. And that's not M-I-N-I, that's many as in multiple strokes, resulting in brain damage visible via the MRI. It was discovered that Trevor has a small hole between the upper right and left chambers of the heart. The activity to put the femur into traction, and probably the wreck itself, released bone marrow containing fat emboli into his bloodstream and the hole in the heart allowed the fat emboli to travel to his brain, causing the strokes. Following this, Trevor had surgery to temporarily stabilize his femur with external fixator last Sunday. He'll be undergoing 2 surgeries earlier this week, one to repair the PFO in his heart, which would refer to the hole in it, and to mitigate further damage to his brain in advance of femur surgery, and one to repair the femur itself. The damage to his brain has not been fully determined at this time, and the recovery process is yet to be determined. As of this update, Trevor is alert and communicating. We're focusing on the small wins. He still has a long way to go. We are limiting his contact with people outside of our immediate family to allow him the rest he needs to focus on recovery. We greatly appreciate everyone that has reached out to us and him to show support and pray. Prayers are being answered daily. And this was Rachel, and I think this was his sister. I don't believe it was his mom. Trevor's just 21 years old. Started racing last year. He's got just barely over a year of pro racing experience. And it just goes to show how fast these things can happen. Safety equipment. There's some things you can do. Everything you can think of. And stuff you've never thought of that other people have thought of to try to protect yourself. And then sometimes just something crazy like, yeah, he broke his leg, but the shaking caused the fat to get into his heart and out of his heart and travel to his brain. I mean, you could not possibly make something up like this, let alone think of it or think of a way to prepare for it if you don't know that it already exists. They did not know this was wrong with his heart. And they may have never known it. It may have never been a problem without this wreck. Or he might have someday, and they wouldn't have known why until they examined it. So in some weird ways, maybe this is a blessing. You'll remember a while back, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, Austin Faulkner had the horrific crash in Dallas. And when they were doing the MRIs to check his back, they found a brain tumor. And they removed it because it was small and it hadn't spread. It hadn't had time to grow. And he's racing again. If it hadn't been for that crash, that tumor would have grown and they wouldn't have known there was a problem until there was a problem. In Austin Faulkner's own words, probably that horrific crash probably saved his life. I don't know that's the case here, but what I do know is that this is a good young man, and I'm sending whatever it is you do. If you pray, include him in your prayers. If you are a person who just believes in good vibes and energy and wishing him well, do that. There's a lot of people that care about this kid, and I hope that we see him back out of the track. If not racing someday, at least there in some capacity, living a full life. So our thoughts and prayers go to Travis Cullip and his family. Some interesting news from NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. I don't know if you've been following this, but if you miss the Mopar Muscle, the Dodge Ram, it is coming back. 2026, the Dodge Ram will be back in action at the Craftsman Truck Series, and theoretically, potentially, Xfinity and Cup Series. This news is part of what's been a busy week for Ram, which announced Thursday that the classic 5.7 liter Hemi V8 would return to its production lineup. So you haven't been able to get the 5.7 V8 Hemi for the street? Well, you're going to be able to again. I was somewhere up in this here. One of the spokesmen, Kaniskas, acknowledged the company had erred in dropping the Hemi power plant. Quote, this is his quote, "Ram screwed up when we dropped the Hemi. We own it and we fixed it," he said, and that customer feedback was key to bringing it back. So when you don't just gripe on Facebook, send the messages to them, to somebody. Apparently it works. The engine returns with a new, quote, symbol of protest badge, a ram's head emerging from a V8 block to the revived branding, and the company's NASCAR return is the next phase of its focus on automotive muscle. I love automotive muscle. More horsepower for me, baby. Let's talk about some events coming up in this weekend. The Stubborn Mule quarter scale tractor pulling is going to be Cherished Acres presents tractor pulling under the lights at the Lutz Farm in Lawrence, Kansas. Friday night, 6 p.m., 7 o'clock pulls, 6 o'clock weigh-in. Saturday, 5 o'clock weigh-in, 6 o'clock pulls. Then in August, they'll also have events, and we'll tell you about that closer to then. But I'll get this posted up. Stubborn Mule quarter scale tractor pulling. They weren't able to pull last week because of the rain at up there close to Rolla and Bell, but they're going to be at Lawrence, Kansas this week. If you have any questions, you can call Gail Lutz at 785-691-8703, and I'll get that shared so you can have all that information. Also coming up this weekend, the American Sprint Car Series. This will be Saturday, June 14th, Tri-State Speedway in Pecola, Oklahoma. Grandstand gates open at 5, $15 for adults. Come on. Kids 5 to 12 are $5. Kids under 5 presumably free. Military or seniors 65 and up, $12. Military with proper ID get in free. Pits open at 4. All the information there. Tri-State Speedway, Pecola, Oklahoma, the American Sprint Car Series. And over at Arrowhead Speedway in Colcord, Oklahoma, Mid-Season Mayhem. Oh, I like mayhem. This is Friday night, June 13th. 12 and under free. Seniors and military with ID, $15. All access pit pass, $40. General admission, $20. They're going to have wing sprints, outlaw modified series, plus their normal classes. This is going to be a big one if you're around Colcord, Oklahoma, Arrowhead Speedway. Just make sure you tell them you heard about it here. And it's also going to be on AeroVision. I see that on live. I've never heard of AeroVision, but if you have that, there you go. You can watch that. Some NASCAR Cup Series news was back there. That's not where that logo was supposed to be, so that does that for the news. Let's get to our birthdays. Birthdays today brought to you by ORP TV. If it's racing, it's on ORP TV. Happy birthday today, kart racer, now dirt track racer, Dylan Bates. Happy birthday, Dylan. Gerald Griffin with a birthday, as well as my buddy Josh Mathis, and Peyton Looney and Stacy Weiss. All with birthday today. Hope you enjoyed your beautiful birthday. Tomorrow, Jack Brassfield. He's big in the motocross world. Happy birthday, Jack. And from the Stubborn Mule quarter scale tractor pulling, my buddy Mike Piercy. Happy birthday, Mike. On Friday, one of the greatest dudes you could ever meet. He one time world record holder in a 240 volt class in electric drag racing. He flipped a electric go-kart down at Ozark Raceway Park, and now he's showing off his great-looking car, and he's just a great dude. Terry Hatfield, happy birthday Friday, and Randy Timms. You guys have a great day. On Saturday, Neil Darnell, down Twister Alley Raceway. Everybody else calls him Jaden's dad, but Joey Davis, happy birthday, Joey. Caden Maurer and Kevin Smith, all with Saturday birthdays. On Sunday, I love this girl. I've known her for so long. She was best friends with my oldest daughter, Sierra Sky Webb. Happy birthday, Sierra. On Monday, Brandon Coddington, Robbie Ewing, and Rob White Jr., all with Monday birthdays. And Tuesday, let me tell you, if you've got a girl, a daughter that's about 12 years old, keep them away from this boy, because he's as nice a young man as you'll ever find. But holy smokes, he's a handsome fella. Lock up your wives and children and watch out for this young man. He is a looker and a great boy. Dylan Aziz, happy birthday, Dylan. Kellen Brixey, my buddy, with a birthday, and Tyler Eidson, happy birthday to all of you from ORP TV. Now let's get over to our celebrity birthdays. Not a racer, but if you know me, you know I've got his autograph tattooed right here. There ain't a bigger fan in the world. My middle daughter's middle name is Montana. Joe Montana, one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. One of my heroes. 69 years of age today. Happy birthday, Joe. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series two-time winner, Raja Caruth, turns 23 today. And Matt Crafton, I was shocked. I didn't think he was this old. 49. So happy birthday to all three of you. On Friday, NHRA legend Joe Amato turns 81. And on Saturday, NHRA Pro Stock Motorcycle racer Angie Smith, 46. Happy birthday to all of you from ORP TV. Now let's look at our weekend weather. Oh, surely it wouldn't be sunny all week and rain on the weekend, would it? Of course it would. It's the Ozarks. Tomorrow, showers, 74. Friday, thunderstorms, 78. Saturday, morning storms, 85. So hopefully those will be real early. Hopefully AM showers means like 1, 2 a.m. and we can get that done. Tracks will be watered and ready to go. And Sunday, Father's Day, 86 degrees, partly cloudy. It's going to be Father's Day on Sunday. If you have pictures of you and your dad or just your dad, something special, I'd love to see those. Send those to me with his name, a little context, and Sunday we'll show those as a tribute to all the dads out there. Friday night racing, we have Arrowhead, Callaway, Doe Run, Electric City, Humboldt, Jonesboro Karting Complex, Lakeside, Lebanon Midway, Monette, Southwest Missouri Quarter Midgets Association in Lamar, Tri-City, and Tulsa Quarter Midgets Association. On Saturday, 81 Speedway, Batesville, Benton, Electric City, I-35, I-44 in Oak City, I-55 in Peevely, Lake Ozark, Lawton, Lebanon I-44 Speedway, Lucas, Nevada, North Central Arkansas Speedway, Salina High Banks in Oklahoma, Southern Oklahoma, Springfield, Tri-State, Valley, and Twister Rally Raceway. Butterfield, Missouri has kart racing on Saturday evening. Hopefully the rain will be gone and just get that track. Needs a lot of water because it gets dry out there. So some AM rain may make for a great racing Saturday night at Twister Alley. On the drag strip, Bonterre, Saturday night bracket racing. Mocan, Friday and Saturday. My buddies, Larry, the Night Train Hunt, and Al Schoenwetter, Titans of 10-5 drag race series at Mocan. If you haven't ever been to a Titans of 10-5 drag race series, it is wild. Great time. Those guys put on a fantastic program. Titans of 10-5 at Mocan Friday and Saturday. Ozark Raceway Park Saturday night. Test and tune and ride along. If you know somebody that has a car, even if you don't know somebody, you can find people that'll take you for a spin down there. Has a second seat in the car, and you have to wear the same equipment that they have based on the speed of their car. Do some ride-alongs, great fun. And Tulsa Raceway Park Friday and Saturday, test and tune. AMA Pro Motocross at High Point in Mount Morris, Pennsylvania. They've been on the West Coast. Now they're coming to the eastern portion. Saturday, 11 a.m. on Peacock, so an early one. NASCAR, surprising that they're doing it this week, that they're leaving the country on Father's Day weekend, but Saturday, Mexico Xfinity Series 330 on the CW. Then Sunday at 1 in the afternoon, going in chronological order here, the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, F1 Series 1 p.m. ESPN. Sunday, the Cup Series from Mexico, 2 o'clock on Prime. Denny Hamlin will not be there. He's announced that unless that baby's born today, tomorrow, Friday, he ain't going. He's going to stay home and welcome in that third child with his girlfriend. So no Denny Hamlin in Mexico, but tune into that. Maybe Kyle Petty will explain fuel mileage to us for another 30 minutes. Mexico, NASCAR. That should be a lot of fun. And then Sunday, also at 2 p.m., NTT IndyCar Series from Madison, Illinois, 2 o'clock on Fox. Let's see what our ORP TV top fans for the week looks like. Last week, we had some shakeups. We had some new people in there. Who's it going to be? Well, I tell you what, it must have stuck in Chip Abramovitz's craw a little bit because he nearly tripled the points of second place. Chip Abramovitz up top. Gary Stiver second. My pals, $2 Pistol Motor Speedway. Thank you, guys. Leighton Rayetta Luna. Michael Perry. Photography by Chesney. Jeff Cowden. Ian Wiedenbaker, who had a birthday on Sunday. My mom. And Summer Aziz. Look, these two girls don't even hardly pay me any attention anymore. Thank goodness Brenda Baker comes around here, and Joyce Brixey, and Heather Van Cleve. You know, you girls, because my mom and Summer just pretty much written me off here. So thank you to every single one of you. If you'd like to drop me an email, orptvmedia@gmail.com, or shoot me a text, 417-872-9854. Again, send me some of those photos. I mean, Jeremy Aziz, I know there's photos. I've got one in mind that I've seen of him with the boys praying before a race. It's just one of my favorite photos ever. It's just so awesome. But send me those pictures you have celebrating your dads. We'd love to see those, and we'll share those on our page and then during our show. So we'll see you back here Sunday night, 6 p.m., ORP TV Live. Have a great week at work. Easy for me to say. We'll see you Sunday night. For ORP TV, I'm Stag. From the Hollywood side in Los Angeles, California, I'm Stag, and you're watching ORP TV.
Goodbye. See you next time.
ORP TV.
Here for ORP TV, we try to have a lot of fun.